Hey everyone, how's it going? Happy Friday and welcome to another Friday Facebook Live. It's the end of another week. You can see it's quite sunny here in New Hampshire. It's been raining most of the week actually, so the sun's been out the past 2 days, which has been really nice to see it again. And but of course the sun came out and it's super hot and humid, so it's not the best weather. But I was missing the sun for a bit there. I've had quite the stretch of rain, unlike maybe the rest of the country. I know there's certain places out west that are struggling and wish they were getting the rain, but we've been definitely getting our fair share of it. So nice to see the sun out. I just got back from my walk. It's good to get out there and have the sun in your face. Um, Today I wanted to talk a little bit about kind of a more specific topic about what to do when you work out later in the afternoon or evening. Um, I was actually, this happened to me, or I did this last week, and a topic this came up while talking to a few other people the other day, so I thought it would be a good topic for a Facebook Live. And basically, if you've ever worked out um, in the evening or later in the afternoon and you're not used to doing that, you might have noticed that your sleep later that night is probably not as good. And this is certainly true for myself. I almost always work out. I'll work out probably after this Facebook Live, so around noon or a little bit later. So I work out plenty of time before I go to bed, usually, and but occasionally I like to go and do a workout with some teammates or some friends, and we generally get together when it's when everyone's able to get together, which is generally late afternoon, early evening, because everyone's done with work and stuff. So when that happens, I make the conscious choice that I'm probably going to suffer some detrimental effects to my sleep because of doing that. And why does that happen? Well, because working out is a stressor, and generally these workouts are not like in yoga. They're lots of running, and I'm doing obstacles and stuff like that. So I'm getting my heart rate up there, and to my body, it's a stressor. It feels like it's running from a lion, so it shoots off all the normal stress hormones, etc., as it should, and that kind of gets you all ramped up. So that in itself will negatively impact your sleep if you do it too close to bedtime. And imagine trying to sleep after any kind of stressful event. It's hard, right? Maybe you had an argument with your spouse or your kids, or you were up late working on a presentation for work that's due the next day or something like that, right? When you're stressed out before bed, whether it's from work or a social interaction or Facebook or a workout, you just have a hard time coming back down to that. Your body's still in this fight or flight mode, and it's not going to want to go to sleep, because that could be danger, right? What if that tiger that you're running from comes back and attacks again, right? So it's not calm down. It's not going to let you go to sleep. The other problem that athletes in particular have to deal with when they are working out late is the fact of eating, right? So you need to fuel the activity. Lots of us are concerned about making sure we're getting the adequate amount of calories and fueling our activity properly. So generally, after you work out in the early evening or later in the afternoon, you're going to have a meal, and because you're probably not going to have a meal right before your workout either. So that can be another issue for sleep, right? Because when you have a meal too close to bed, your body is still working through digesting that meal, and your body's not very good at digesting while it's sleeping, so it keeps you awake while that's all happening, right? So that's another issue on top of that. So there are some things that I think you can do. Ultimately, your choice as to when you work out is up to you, right? And when you do it and what time you do it, etc., is up to you. I do not do it terribly frequently, but I also think that the benefits that I get from working out with other people, my teammates, and getting in some of that specific training for obstacle course racing that I'm looking for um, are worth the occasional, subpar night of sleep. I wouldn't say it's the worst night of sleep that I get, but it's certainly not my best night of sleep either. And often it kind of that then impairs kind of workout the next day a little bit, and so there is some trade-off that I'm making here to do that. So ultimately, you need to decide whether how often, how frequent you're willing to do this for yourself, and weigh the cost and benefits of that, right? So as far as how often you should do it, do I think you should never work out in the evening, ever? No. I mean, if there are some benefits to doing it, then or that's the only time you can do it occasionally, that those benefits might outweigh the costs of the impact on sleep. Do I think that you should do it every single day, no matter what, and sacrifice sleep, etc.? Doing that, um, no, I don't think that. Right. So I think that you just need to, like everything, find the right balance for you. Um, Now, as far as if you do decide to work out in the evening, and it does tend to affect your sleep, there's certain things you do. Obviously, you can't really change the intensity of the workout you're going to do. You're going to do the workout you're going to do, and so that's out of your effect, out of choice. But as far as the food intake goes, you can try and um, help out a little bit, right? So the first thing you can do is choose foods that you're going to have after the workout, for dinner, that are easily digestible, right? So you could think of having a protein shake with some carbohydrates mixed in, fruit, banana, whey protein, um, basically a dinner in a shake form, and that would is very easy to digest. It's not going to cause you a lot of distress in your stomach. It's going to just go down really well, and not be too much of an issue. Outside of that, you can choose things like ground beef, ground chicken, any kind of ground meat is generally easier to digest than the whole form of that when it's not ground, because it just takes more effort for your body to digest the steak than it does to digest ground beef, for example. Things like white rice, generally people are very, very easy to digest. Just things that fruits, that type of stuff. Things that go down really well and and you usually digest very well. Anything that you're going to, kind of usually feels like it sits in your stomach for a long time, is probably a bad choice to have after a workout later in the evening when you're working out late, and you're going to go to bed quite soon after that. So don't pick some kind of, like, if salads sit in your stomach forever, like, it's probably not a good idea to have a gigantic big ass salad, right after you work out before bed. It's probably going to keep you up all night. The other thing you can do is try to make dinner smaller and front load a little bit more calories at breakfast and lunch. So, maybe you just increase the amount of food that you're eating at breakfast and lunch and make dinner a little bit smaller. That way it's a little less burden to digest. And so that could be a strategy for yourself too. Obviously, you don't want to have a gigantic lunch and then still have that sitting in your stomach when you go and work out later in the evening either. So there's a fine balance. I certainly think if you're going to try to front load calories, the best time to do it is at breakfast. And then maybe a little bit more at lunch, but don't go like crazy, because then you don't want to have like a big just food baby in your stomach when you're going to try and work out either. The other option is to completely skip dinner. Now, do I think that's the best option for everyone? No. If you're struggling to get in calories, etc., like I'd probably rather see you eat dinner in some form or another. But if you have a rest day the next day, and maybe you can possibly, you're not going to be doing much from a workout perspective, and kind of make up for the calories the next day. And you don't really need the fuel first thing in the morning. Like, maybe you can skip dinner and kind of make up some calories the next day, overall a week, right? Because really, it's yes, within day energy balance can be an issue to some degree, but ultimately, it's the week-long picture energy balance that we're looking at. So um, it's if you skip dinner and make up for it over the course of the next few days, probably not a huge deal for most people. If you're severely calorie restricted and like you're trying to you have a lot of signs of energy deficit, then I prefer that you don't do the skip dinner method, and try to get in dinner and kind of do some of the strategies I talked about earlier with making dinner a little bit more easy to digest. But it is an option, especially if the workout that you do in the evening is like maybe you go for a hike, or it's something easier, it's an easy aerobic run or something like that. So you can play with that if depending on the situation you're in. Ultimately, for myself, I just don't really worry about it. I try to be a robust human so that if I have one night of subpar sleep, it's not really a huge deal. Overall, throughout the week, my sleep is pretty good generally. So if I get one night occasionally where I don't sleep as well, I'm generally able to handle that stress pretty easily and keep them going. Right now, if you're someone that is battling sleep issues, you already have subpar sleep, etc. Maybe choosing to work out in the evening is something you don't want to do until you iron out those sleep issues and you feel like your sleep is good. Because disrupting your sleep again after already having disrupted sleep patterns already, even without working out in the evening, probably not a good idea, right? So you have to take your entire health picture in perspective and make the choice that's right for you. But those are some strategies that I think you can use if you find that type of stuff helpful, or you find yourself in that situation once in a while. So that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed that little helpful hint if you're someone who works out in the evening. I'm sorry if you can hear my sounds like the the guys are cutting the grass outside. So sorry if you can hear that, but that's all I got for you this week. I may or may not be on next week. I'm going to be traveling next Friday, so depending on that, I may do a Facebook Live, I may not. We'll see how that irons out. I hope you do something fun this weekend. I just made a Darth Vader cake for my son's 4th birthday. Yes, it's paleo. I will document with pictures and whatnot on Instagram if you're interested in checking that out. But we have my son's birthday party tomorrow. He's turning 4, so that's my weekend. Gonna get a little strength training session in tomorrow, hopefully, as well, and see some friends and family, which should be good. So if you do something fun this weekend, as always, if you want to get in touch, please leave comments here, direct message me, etc. Happy to answer any questions about what we talked about today or anything else. And if you want to get all this content, including my Facebook Lives, blog posts, newsletter, stuff like that, please sign up for my newsletter. You can go to rjbhealth.coach. Should be a link here alongside the Facebook Live. You click that link, go to the newsletter link at the top, enter your email address, and sign up there. And you'll get all this stuff delivered to your inbox as opposed to having to follow me and stalk me on social media. And then if you're interested in health coaching, I might have a couple spots opening up sometime soon, so good news there. But right now I'm still on a wait list, so if you're interested in jumping on the wait list and be notified when I have a couple spots open, please go to RJB Health Coach, health.coach. Again, link is here alongside the Facebook Live. And right at the top, you can, right on the homepage, you can click the link to schedule a discovery call or fill out the form, and you'll jump right on the wait list there. So that said, hope everyone has a good weekend, and I will maybe talk to you all next week. We'll see.